Hello there, and welcome to Norwegian Woods. Today I'm out for a little overnighter again, and it looks like the season is turning now, and we're getting really close to springtime here in Norway, at least in my part of Norway. Originally, I had some different plans for this little weekend overnight trip. But unfortunately, yesterday I managed to hurt my hand a little bit at work, and I got this idea that I should probably make a video about injuries out in the wilderness, and I think that's quite an important topic because bad stuff can happen out there, and of course, I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional, and I really don't want to make at this point a video about first aid. I want to make a video and talk a little bit about more general approach and ways to think about injuries and also some serious injuries, especially when you're alone out in the woods. It's I think it can be really helpful to think about these things a little bit before the injuries happens. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this little trip and my little talk about this topic. My setup for this trip is actually really simple. It's just my hammock and my sleeping bag. I did bring a tarp just in case, but I don't think it will be any rain tonight. I'm not planning on making a big campfire tonight. Just make a small one. Cook a little bit of food, and as always, I like to depend on my sleeping bag to keep warm in the night. That's always the most convenient. I think I have managed to gather most of the firewood I need in maybe just like 5 minutes. It's a lot of dead spruce trees around here, and I know that spruce is probably not the most desired firewood for cooking fires around the planet, but in these parts of the woods I think it's one of the best and safest woods if you want to make an easy fire, because it's when it's dead standing, it's a good chance it burns really good. It catches good, and yeah, it burns pretty fast. But I think that's okay. When there's plenty around, you can just put a little bit more on the fire. Since I didn't know exactly how well my hand was going to work out on this trip, I did bring with me some easier way of making a cooking fire. I want to make a small campfire later tonight, but I don't want to burn a whole lot of wood, so I just make myself a cup of coffee with this little gas stove while I'm waiting for the dark. This is actually a lot easier than chopping firewood and gathering fire starting materials and everything like that. Yep. It's really starting starting to get dark out here. So it's perfect with a cup of coffee. Just enjoying the silence. It is quite fascinating to see how vastly different it is to make a campfire this time of the year than it was compared to just like a month ago. At this time of the season, it's so much dry stuff, so much firewood and tinder and everything you need. Just 10 minutes of gathering and you have everything you need to make a big fire. The biggest challenge is to keep it under control and keep it from spreading and starting a big bushfire or forest fire. That can be really dangerous. There is a good reason why there is a fire ban in this woods all the summer months, because it's really easy to get the fires out of control. So tomorrow I want to talk a little bit about the topic of injuries while we're out in the wilderness. Just to start off a little bit today, I think it's one really important thing to be aware of, and that it's really different if you get injured out in the wilderness while you're all by yourself, or if you are with a group of other people. Because if you are by yourself, like I am most of the time when I'm out in the woods, and if I get injured, I need to be able to contact other people to get help. Most of the time I can just use my phone, but sometimes I can't because I have no signal. And sometimes if you fall down some place, or you fall into some water, you can do a lot of different things out in the woods that's not good. And in these circumstances, maybe the phone stops working, and then you actually need to move yourself to a place where you can be seen by other people. And with an injury, that can be a challenge, for sure. Because with some serious injury, and no one that's actually looking for you, I don't think any signaling mirror or like this emergency survival whistles or anything of these small gadgets will do you any good. I think all these gadgets can be helpful if someone's actually looking for you, but if they are not, I don't think they are more than kind of this survival fantasy. Good morning. I actually woke up quite a while ago now, and I have been enjoying this morning. It's nice and warm today, and I had one of the best night's sleep I've had in a really long time actually. This night it was like the perfect temperature and a clear sky with stars. It was awesome. As I mentioned yesterday, I was a little bit worried about my hand before I went out on this little trip, but yeah, it seems like it's healing up nicely, and it hasn't caused me any problems. But I did think about the gear a little bit before I left, and I think that can be yeah, it can be useful to have some stuff with you that doesn't take a lot of fine motor skills and with a lot of fiddly little things to work in case something should happen. For one example is I choose to bring a big saw because I knew that I didn't want to make a big fire, but with a big saw like this with really good capacity, it doesn't take much effort to cut some small pieces. If you kind of rely on something like let's see if I can get it, the saw of something like this, a small folding knife, or maybe some other a little bit larger folding saw like the Laplander saw or something like that, it's no problem if the body is functioning as it's supposed to cut some small firewood for some small fire with these smaller tools. But it takes a lot less effort with a big tool like this. And usually I rely on my my axe for wood processing, and the axe can be a little bit dangerous because if you don't get a good grip on it, like I have injured my little finger, and this makes the grip a little bit weaker at the bottom of the handle, and this may cause the axe to slip out. And I really don't think it's a good idea to use the weak hand for a chopping tool like this, because you have a lot less control and it's easy to slip and cut yourself. So for me on this trip, I didn't split any wood at all because it was really dry as it was. But I thought about maybe something like this larger knife could be a good idea in combination with the baton. I think you can have some more control with an injury if you go about a technique like this instead of chopping away with a weak hand or holding a sharp tool in an injured hand. So yeah, it was just some of the process I went through before I went out for this trip. I also brought with me this little gas stove for cooking fire. It's really simple to have something like this compared to making a fire to make the morning coffee. Of course you don't need the morning coffee, but I really enjoy it. So also to start this stove and also the campfire last night, I used a lighter, just a regular cigarette lighter. I think this is a lot more convenient than using something like a fire steel, because yeah, it's a lot more effort that goes into using this, especially with one hand, than a regular firelighter. I think it can be really useful to be mindful of these kind of topics when you pack up your bag for a trip out in the wilderness, because sometimes you end up with some small minor injuries. It can just be a little cut from the knife in a finger. It can be you stab yourself, and you can injure yourself with the saw. You can drop something on top of you when you take down a tree or something, and some stuff can happen that isn't threatening your life, but it still makes it harder to do all the little things around camp. So I think it can be useful to bring some tools that don't take all this effort and all this fine motor skills to operate. And maybe it's also a less chance for this a little bit more robust and simple tools not to break while you're out in the wilderness on your little camping trip, or maybe for some longer stays as well. If something actually should happen, both the body and the mind reacts in a few different ways, and of course it's different from person to person, and the circumstances can also dictate how everything's going to be experienced. But there are some general things that I would guess most people would experience when they manage to injure themselves, and that's the same if you're out in the wilderness, or if you're somewhere else at work or at home doing stuff that you shouldn't probably be doing in the first place. And like the experience I had at work 2 days ago, I squeezed my hand, and it was really painful right away. It was bleeding, and I knew right away that this could be something internal damage in my hand. I didn't know, but I had this suspicion, and I managed to finish the tasks I was doing, and I went, I kept on working for maybe like an hour or so, and then I went to have a lunch break, and I was sitting there and talking, and my body was getting cold, and everything was calming down. The emotional response was going away, and while I was sitting there, the hand began to swell. And I think that's something that takes a little time often before it starts. And it was getting more and more painful to move my fingers, especially the two small ones. Of course, this isn't a serious injury. It's just an example of how things can happen and how things can move along after you hurt yourself. And after about an hour or so, I could hardly move my fingers, and that's one of the responses that the body does if it hurt the soft tissue, like the muscles and tendons and stuff like this. It's starting to protect itself, and it's starting to do some swelling, and it's getting painful to move. The body tells you that you should keep steady and keep it calm, and that can be a dangerous situation. Let's say if you hurt some big muscles in your leg or something, in your back or in your belly. If this muscle starts to swell and you slow down everything and just take a rest for a few hours, this swelling can get really bad, and this can disable you from getting to a place where you can actually get help. I think that maybe the first thing you experience when you injure yourself out in the wilderness is the emotional response. It can be quite a few different reactions you get. You can get the sense of panic, you get scared, you feel that you're losing control, and you can also feel some kind of adrenaline rush. This can also cause you to be angry, to make you. I guess it's this fight or flight response that we have from the nature. But when you actually hurt yourself, it doesn't help to run away from it, and it doesn't help to fight it. It's just a response that the body starts to give you, and it messes with your mind in a way. And also this sense of panic that you can experience because you understand that you've done something really stupid, and you're in a really bad situation, and this panic can also cause this fight or flight response. It can be a trigger for it. And of course, pain is also something you will experience, and I think pain is both an emotional thing and a physical thing. Is very much in both categories. But I think that one really useful thing when you experience an injury is to calm down. And I have some personal experience with breath control. Like if you slow down your breathing, it slows down the heart rate, because when you get all this adrenaline and hormones and all these responses in the body, your heart rate goes up and it starts to hyperventilate, and that's not a good thing, because you need to focus your mind. If there's one situation where you really need to be able to focus, it's if you get injured, because I think the main thing is to not do stupid choices right after you've injured yourself. You need to slow down the breathing and focus on the tasks that you need to do, and evaluate the injury that you've caused yourself. I think that the choices you make in the really short time after you've injured yourself, your ability to calm down, focus, and evaluate, and start to do the right things, that can be something that can really, it can save your life if things have gotten really bad. Quite a few years ago, I think I was about 14 years at the time, I injured my hand in an explosion. I held this detonator, this blast cap for dynamite in my hand when it went off, and it was actually not a very nice experience, as you probably can imagine. And I went through quite a few different stages after this incident. Of course, this wasn't in the wilderness. It was I was together with a few of my friends who were playing at an old farm, and we found this stuff that we obviously shouldn't have found, but we did anyway. And this accident happened, and the first thing is that I just freaked out. It was this flight response. I run out of the place. It was inside at the moment. I run out, and I started to focus. I don't know why, but I calmed down pretty fast. It was within a minute after it happened, I managed to calm down. And we had quite a distance. It was a few kilometers to walk to get back home. And of course this didn't look too good. Everybody understood that this needed to be taken care of at the hospital. And I managed to walk home and showed my dad what had happened, and he drove me to the hospital. And it was, I think, about an hour or two after the actual incident happened until I got to the hospital. And before I got to the hospital, I didn't feel much pain. Of course, there was no swelling. I was lucky that it wasn't much bleeding. It could have been. Then I probably should have taken some more steps on the way before I went to the hospital. But it wasn't bleeding that badly. And right before we came to the hospital, it started to get really painful. And of course, in the hospital they gave me some magic medications. I didn't feel anything at all. So yeah, and it was quite a long time that I had to spend there, because it was really much burned debris inside the wound. And I think if this kind of accident would have happened out in the wilderness, I guess the next day, if I decided to calm down and rest until the next day for some reason, I guess it would start to get some infections, and that would not have been good if I had needed to walk. So I think the first hour, two, if you are in a place like I'm now, it's not very far to walk to the nearest road. And in a lot of places around in Norway and Europe and probably most of the Western world, if you are in the wilderness, it's not that far to walk until you can get some help. And I think this first hour or two or three, if you have the capability to move yourself from the wilderness out to get help, I think that can be a lifesaver. Usually when I'm out in the wilderness, I bring with me this little first aid kit. In here I've got some patches, some band-aids, some bandages, and yeah, something for blisters from my shoes and stuff like this. But I don't think this is a life-saving kit. This is for convenience. If I cut myself with my knife, usually I've done this of course many times, and I guess everybody that's using knives out in the wilderness do this from time to time. And I don't cut myself deeply. The knife is sharp, and it's just to touch it, and you get some the skin opens up, and you start to bleed. And I find it really convenient to have something to just stop the blood from going all over my gear, and it makes my hand slippery sometimes. It also stops debris from getting into the wound, so it's a little bit protection from infections later. But these kinds of injuries, you don't have to leave the forest because you cut yourself just a little bit. That's just something that happens. But if you cut yourself badly or hurt yourself really badly, then you need to do sometimes a little bit of first aid to stop it. And I'm not going to go into this very deeply, but oftentimes if you cut yourself in a place where you have some big arteries, I think they're called, you need to put some stuff on top of it and give some real pressure to keep the blood from coming out. And when you've stopped this immediate bleeding, then I think it's a good thing, if you're alone, to start moving away from the isolated area. I want to mention another thing that happens from time to time. That's with hunters that go out in the woods to hunt animals, and they shoot at an animal, and they miss the vital organs, like the lungs and the heart and or the head. You can hit sometimes maybe in the belly. You can hit it in the leg, or you can badly injure the animal, but you don't hit it in a deadly spot. And when this happens, the animal can just run off really fast, and it can go for a really long time, just from the adrenaline and the experience it had when it was hit by this bullet. And as a hunter, then it's of course you need to trace down this animal, and of course if you hunt larger game here in Norway, you have to have this sniffer dogs available. That's trained to do exactly this task. But it's always important to wait a little bit before you start tracing after the animal, because if the animal feels that it's being chased by you and the dog, it just keeps going, because the adrenaline is it keeps the animal moving. But if the animal moves away from your spot, and it doesn't feel that it's being chased by anything, then the animal tries to find itself a safe spot to lay down and start recovering and healing itself. And after about an hour, maybe 2 hours, the animal has calmed all the way down, and it's starting to get some swelling, some infections. And at this point, if you trace down the animal with your dog, it's easy to get close to it, because it can't get up. It's disabled from the swelling and the body fixing itself, and then it's easy to get in close enough to give the deadly shot. And I think as people we can experience the same thing after an injury. I know I said this quite a few times now, but I guess this is the main message I want to get across with this video. That it's important to not let the healing process of the body start while we're out in the wilderness by yourself, because it will make it really a lot harder to move just a short distance to get help after just a couple of hours. So if you have the ability to get yourself to a road, to a house, to somewhere where you get some signal on your cell phone. Of course, if you have signal right where it happens, and you're able to contact people and tell someone what's happened, so they can come and get you and give you help, then it may be a good idea to stay, because with an injury there's a good chance that you will you'll be more likely to fall and injure yourself even more on the way out from the wilderness. But if you don't have that option, you don't have this GPS tracking gadgets or cell phone coverage or any other kind of communication means, then I think it's important to move out. And I think you should do it quickly after the accident happened and you have stopped any dangerous bleedings. And you should do it in a steady and controlled pace. And I think if you have some distance, it's also a good idea to keep hydrated on the way. If you drink a little bit of water from some creeks, I wouldn't worry, because these bacteria and viruses and stuff that you can get through some dirty water, it also takes quite some time before it starts to cause you trouble. It doesn't happen right away. And if you are in a hospital or you are together with other people, then you can deal with that later. When you're in the wilderness all by yourself and you don't have any means to contact people for help, then you're in a really bad spot if you get injured. Before I end this video, I want to mention a few things that you should be mindful of. Things that can cause you harm out in the wilderness. Of course, there's all different kinds of stuff that can happen, but I think some of the main things that can happen is that you cut yourself, you can break bones, or you can get stabbed by something, and this can happen in a lot of different ways out in the wilderness. And I think one of the dangerous things to do is to climb stuff. It can be rocks, mountains, trees, whatever. Then it's always a chance that you fall down and injure yourself. And all different kinds of stuff can happen if you actually fall down somewhere. Another thing that's really, really dangerous is to take down trees, especially big trees, because you never know exactly how this is going to fall, and a lot of people have hurt themselves badly and also died from felling trees. So yeah, the small stuff like this big and stuff like this that I take down for some campfire wood, I don't consider that to be dangerous. But if you have some larger stuff, I know that Morsko Hansky talked about if you can't wrap your one hand around it and touch yourself, something like this, then you should be really, really careful, because then it can be dangerous. Maybe that's a good measure. Something like this, it's a lot of weight, a lot of force, and if this falls on you, you can get pierced by branches, you can get crushed, break stuff. It's really not good. Another thing that can happen, I'm really not worried about it. It's attack from animals, wild animals. I think maybe the most dangerous animal regarding this kind of injuries here in Norway is probably the moose, because it's a big animal, and if it gets scared, or maybe in the mating season, it can attack you. It can be aggressive, or it can be scared in a way that it feels like it has to defend itself, and then you can get kicked and stepped on and stuff like this, and it's not a good thing. So be mindful of the wildlife. Also, if you get bitten by some badgers or foxes or anything like this, I also think it's a good chance that you get infections, bad infections in the wounds. So you should take that really, really serious if that happens to you for some odd reason. Another thing that can happen is that you burn yourself, and of course, if you burn yourself just a little bit on some hot coals or some hot food, it's not dangerous, but it can get a lot worse if you set your tent on fire in the middle of the night while you're asleep. Then you can get some bad burns, and that can be really dangerous. If you burn like I think 10% of your skin, then it can be deadly, and it's really painful to burn yourself, and it's really likely that you get bad infections from it, and it can happen pretty fast if you burn yourself. So if that happens, you should probably get some help. When you evaluate all the different dangers that you can encounter out in the wilderness, I think it's most likely that the stuff that will hurt you is the stuff that you bring with you out in the woods, like different kinds of tools, like knives, axes, saws, and maybe hunting guns, stuff like this. It's the most dangerous stuff that you have around you. Of course, there are dangerous things out in the wilderness without you bringing them there. But yeah, you should always be mindful of using your dangerous tools. So now it's getting a little bit later in the afternoon. The sun is starting to go down, and it's getting a little bit colder. So I guess it's time for me to pack up my little camp and hike back home. I really got to say that I have enjoyed this day a lot. It's been really nice to feel that the winter is leaving, and it will soon be spring around here. And yeah, I also hope that the information I've shared in this video can be somewhat interesting and useful to some of you. And I have some plans for more trips and more videos in the not far future. So until the next time, thanks and bye bye.